Welcome back, Commander. Here we go again. So, we're in Finland again today, in the Murmansk region, for another great skirmish. Here's our troops. Look at them, poised and ready. I've got this fun little gun carriage there with a machine gun on it. It's got armour. It's going for the kill. No messing. Now, as a joy of joys, who'd have thought, using the offensive doctrine, I actually get to start with tanks. I love tanks. And this is going to be great. That means the first two defence lines are going to get massacred. Ah, yes, it's just going to be easy. And I've got the little armoured machine gun up there on the left on the mini-map. Look, blue cheese wedge. He's shooting things as we go. Now, there are a couple of loose rogue... there are a few rogue enemies on the right-hand side. I'm just going to dig them out of the bush with the infantry. While the tanks, I'm going to park on outside the trench fortifications and just let them get on with it for a little while I mess about. So yeah, these two like hiding down there. In the past, I haven't bothered to kill them, and then when I'm moving a gun, like an artillery piece that cost 1,000,000 or 1,000 or whatever it cost, and it's kind of slowly walking up the map, it's slowly walking past them and getting murdered. So I've decided to find them, hunt them, and kill them. Yes. Murder. And off they go. And I'll march these guys up, and what we're going to do is, and what I'm trying to do is to flank the trenches. I want the tanks to attack from behind the trench line. Don't ask me why. I've decided that's a smart thing to do. Essentially just for line of sight. It's an experiment. I'm not saying this is the way you should do it, but this is what I'm trying to do. As an experiment, I'm going to stick the tanks up on the other side, on the left and the right side of those trenches, respectively, and just let them get on with it. I attempted to drive them manually and go for just like a blood fest. But in the end, I chose not to. It's nice to be able to click retreat, you know, when something's getting in grenade range, as opposed to being first person and just not even see it. So I'll push these guys up. Look, I'm not going to do the trench with the infantrymen particularly. So he's just going to sit there and kill stuff. A lovely gun carriage. It's a really good starter unit, actually. Much better than any of the other ones I've ever had. Better than the Kuba wagon, better than the Kuba wagon with a machine gun. Just better, it's got armour. It's got a machine gun, it's got armour. What more could you want? Well, don't answer that. Now, just turn that volume down. Just so that my voice can overpower the sounds of the dulcet sound of machine guns. So he's got a guy in the woods next to him. That guy's actually dangerous. There's flushing out a couple of guys in the woods next to that tank. I'm worried that they'll just come and hand grenade me, or they'll have a 50 cal anti-tank rifle. Don't really know. So I'll send the troops up to back him up, and maybe the troops will flush him out. I think in the woods, troops are better. A troop line is better than a single tank, and the reason being, they've got a wider field of fire. So if you're hiding behind a tree, you know, the tank's machine gun hits the tree. But if you've got a line of troops, you can't hide from all of them. You know, they're just going to have the angle on you. You may be safe from the guy in the middle, but the guy on the left, on the right will have angle around the side of the tree. So I think hopefully a line of troops right here is going to deal with those two in the bushes that you see on the mini-map on the left hand side where we are. I think they're going to do better than the tank was doing. I think they're going to do it quicker. And you know I love quick. This isn't my first attempt at this mission. I played it twice and lost the recording. Both of the times I played it and lost the recording, and you're not going to believe this, I finished the map in under an hour. First two times I played it, finished it in under an hour. Second two times I played it, and this is the latter of the two, under 2 hours. Damn it. So I thought, oh well, I've lost the recording. It'll just be another hour. I'll be able to do it all again. And no, this time much slower. Try half the speed. This is me trying to do it fast, knowing that it can be done fast. So yeah, I don't suppose you believe me. Oh well. Now, after I'm moving the tank up to about here. From my previous experience, I found that some kind of field gun over at the bridge in the centre, of the map, but there's a river crossing. The bridge in the centre, there's usually a field gun either on the left or the right of it. And where I've parked the tank is sort of just outside that field gun's range, I hope. Not exactly, a bit touch and go. Might be just inside the range. But he's the tank with the cannon, and frankly he should be able to give a light field gun a run for its money anyway, in a straight up fight. And slugging it out face to face. He's actually, the odds on winner, but not by a lot. I'd say 6 times out of 10, if I just left them to it, he'd win. So that's the tank going up there. This is the guy that's worrying me. This is why I don't want to be in first person. Because this little guy running up there put a grenade on me before I even see him. And at least, and the AI is pretty good at shooting them. The other nice thing about this one is because I'm going so tank heavy. I think this tactic would work equally well on the hardest hardcore mode. On maximum difficulty levels, where the enemy has, or where your troops essentially have less hit points and die all the quicker. So yeah, so I think this is doing things with tanks essentially counters the difficulty levels of the game. I don't think the tanks get any weaker or any stronger, or the artillery pieces. I think just your own units take less damage. Your own infantry men, sorry, take less damage. I don't think the vehicles. I think the vehicles and the weapon systems are basically unaffected by the change in difficulty level. So yeah, so I want to master being a tanker in this game. I think then if I ever play multiplayer, when I played with Sir Jellybean, and when I've seen him and other people play conquest missions and the like on the internet, they're all, they played this game so many times around the block that they're up to higher difficulty levels. This is still my first playthrough of the game. Although, I've obviously played all the sequels, so it's not like I'm a complete noob. But yeah, because they play at such high difficulty, so I figure to compete with them, or to get on a reasonable level playing field with them, I need to focus on armour. And that's where I like to be. I just think, because they develop pretty serious infantry tactics. They're belly crawling, most of the time I don't bother with belly crawling unless it's like a ninja mission, unless it's like a commando mission where I have to get places up without being seen. I don't really bother with belly crawling. I put a line out, they shoot the enemy down, my guys kill 5 or 10 enemy before they go down, if they go down at all. And that's because I'm playing in normal mode or easy mode or whatever it is I'm playing on, default mode. And yeah, but those guys, so they're having to use a lot of tactics, so they'll be you're throwing a whole lot more grenades because they need the kills fast and they don't want to get into line of sight and get shot. Using smoke grenades, they're belly crawling to minimise the damage they get, and it's pretty rare that playing this game sort of on vanilla settings that I even bother with that. And certainly, in those, I've done it in the past in the in the missions, and the earlier iterations of the game were pretty unforgiving. But in particularly a game like a skirmish, where if you lose your men, you wait 5 minutes and you can afford some new ones. You know, so if I lose a squad of infantry here, I'm really not crying, because I'm just going to spawn another one 10 minutes later, 5 minutes later, 3 minutes later, whatever it is. It's not, you know, or while on a mission, for example, if I only had one squad and I lost that, that'd be game over, restart the mission, or do a load or something to that effect. And if you're playing Conquest, it matters. If you're playing head-to-head PvP, it matters. You don't want to be losing stuff. Here, I mean, I don't like losing stuff, and I tend to play quite conservative games to save my men's lives. But even so, you know, I can afford to be gung-ho from time to time. That's just my play style. It's not what I need to win, if you see what I mean. So yeah, tanks. Anyway, tanks. Here they are. He's found another tank. What's that? It's one of the same. So it's tank on tank, same tank versus same tank. I don't know what that tank's called. It does have a name. Oh, I've lost line of sight on him. Probably I'd like some snipers to... it's about time for some snipers. So that they're on the bridge. You can see on the mini-map. There on the bridge, that little red arrow. There, boom. Now I think that's a light. I said they can take him on 6 times out of 10, but oh, have they? Yeah. So yeah, the tanks can easily win against. Alright, so I'll retreat him and I'll see if I can repair him. They're still shooting at the tank, so it doesn't look like... I think they're going to finish it. I think they're going to kill it. I think there's no bringing that one back. That said, as for the infantry, I can afford to lose them. It's a skirmish. Pretty soon I'll be able to afford the next one. In fact, I can afford the next one. Not right now, but very soon. Very soon I'll just slap a replacement in. Now the other thing I've been doing is doing differently this time is, you can see I've already captured both of those. It was so easy with the tanks, starting with tanks. That was quick. The other thing I've been doing on this run that I haven't been doing on the previous runs is buying expensive infantry. And I want to move that mortar into that pit so that the cannon can't shoot him and he can shoot the cannon. Yeah, buying expensive infantry. You know, the most expensive infantry. I think this is some kind of German unit. Again, the letters are so small on the icon in 4K that I couldn't tell you what the name of this unit is without getting a magnifying glass out and walking across the room to the other side. You know, my screen's a couple of meters away. But yeah, so this is the most expensive units. They've presumably got decent guns, ammos, anti-tank, grenades, and God knows what. But look at that concentration in the center. I thought I'd stick them there and get line of sight and blow off all the shoot off all the loose infantry, so that my tank could pop back to the position where the last tank died and have a duel. But no, the firepower there is too heavy. They're just going to die. There's like 2 cannons shooting at them. One's on a tank, one's on a... There's like 2 tanks up there. There's a field gun, some infantry, you know, behind stuff. That wasn't the right angle. They're just getting smashed. Look at all that fire coming in. They are getting smashed. So, how to resolve it? So the next thing I'd like to do is build an advanced mortar base. Now again, I've learned that if I place my mortar right there, look where that X is, the white dots and the X's, that's in range. We could see that the other mortar was getting shot there. So what I've now got to do, challenge, is to take out, see those 2 red arrows just up on that hill where the bombs are coming in, where the mortar are landing. I've got to take out those 2 cannons before my next mortar gets into the area. Now I could just say, hey mortar, hang back and wait till I've done it, but no. Let's go. Let's kill him before he kills my mortar. Let's do it. Yeah, this is a speed run. We're not waiting. We're not playing it safe. We're going to risk it for a biscuit. And just out of sheer bloody mindedness, we are going to advance and attack. This is a bit touch and go, same tank versus same tank. I've got him side on. I'm aiming for the lower body, I'm not aiming for the turret. I could have gotten my first shot to the side of this turret. I'm hoping, whoa, yes, that was the right tactic. Hey! Yeah, I was hoping that it would work, and it did. So with that one done, and look, one of those, so who's shooting? One of those field guns is done, or at least decrewed, semi-done. There's a red dot behind me. Where my mortar pits are, there's an enemy troop in the house behind them. So I've built him. He's quite useful. This is quite a big flat gun, and he could probably really upset some armour and certainly upset some infantry. He's got a reasonable range, and I like him, so I got one. Even though I'm doing this all with tanks, I like him. I got one. And the other thing I haven't done this round is bother getting my own field guns. The starter unit, the starter anti-tank unit, is a big cannon, a big field gun for 300 points, the same cost as a tank, and I can have a maximum of 3. Normally, it's the second unit I'd buy. I'd buy tank and tank killer. This time, I just think, because I've got an actual tank with a cannon, I don't really need another cannon. It can do anti-tank, it can do anti-infantry. It's pretty bomb-proof. It's very mobile. Yeah, so I haven't really bothered with it, and I probably won't. I might get one later on, just to pin that to break the next line after the river, perhaps. Maybe, we'll see. But yeah, by now, normally I'd have rushed to get all 3 of those and put them at the front of this bridge somewhere, hammering everything out. Just thought, you know what, let's do it different, and it hasn't hurt me. It hasn't hurt me to do so at all, or it hasn't so far. So there's another thing. So there's another tank duel, tank on tank, same kind of tank. And now I want to get that mortar in so that he can attack things on the other side of the bridge. This is quite a tough position. It looks like to the eye that where I've just moved in there is behind a hill. You know, but it's not really. If it's a hill at all, it's very, very mild slope, and essentially cannons shoot over that and blow up my mortars. So it's an aggressive position to put it in. At the same time, we're at war. What do you expect? Aggression! Give it to me! I'm gonna kill you all of you. Yeah. So this was my expensive infantry. I'm a bit annoyed to have lost one just there to the cannons that I was hoping. See what I was saying? The cannons can fire right over that hill. It's firing over the hill, even into that trench. And there's some sweet spots where they don't hit the mortar, but there are a lot more unsweet spots where they do. Yeah. Let's play this microphone a bit. See if that makes me any louder. I love to be loud. That nice respectable amount of dead bodies. One of them was. I can't get my Border medic earlier, and I can't get him I can't get the angle on the body to find the heal icon, the revive icon. That's a real pain. Happens to me often. You know the one. And it's usually just a case of zooming in and going through all the angles and just finding the big toe that's sticking out of the mud, out of the clipping. And yeah. 3 minutes time I'll have another one. It's expendable. Yes, you are. All of you boys are expendable. Brave finish. So is that a reindeer chunking around, or is that at the very bottom of the screen? Like, is that a cow or a reindeer? I'm tempted to make another reindeer thumbnail. I put a reindeer thumbnail on one of these releases. I don't know. Thumbnails apparently are very eye-catching, aren't they? I mean, if you see a picture of a sexy looking tiger tank, or you see a picture of a reindeer and a bloke with a musket, which one are you going to click? You know, are you going to click the tigers going into battle, or are you going to click a cow with a soldier standing next to it? You know, and I'm going with the eye candy is that guys like us, up for a bit of war porn, we want the tiger tank, don't we? That's like, yeah, big old tiger tank, beast, 88 gun, MG3s, heavy armour, massacre, you know, boom. Or do we want reindeer? I don't know, and I'm not going to try and make reindeer noises because I don't know what noises reindeers make. They probably bark. But I just couldn't resist. I just couldn't resist putting the thumbnail of, because it's Finland. You know, what do I associate Finland with? And it is Santa Claus, reindeers. It really is. And there's an industry there, you know, they farm reindeers and that kind of stuff. It's a general thing. And there are some of these maps do have reindeers running around on them. So I put a reindeer thumbnail. I bet you it bombs. I bet you no one clicks on it. But my click ratio goes through the floor for that one. But who knows? Maybe you guys would be kind enough just to click on it for me, just to cheer me up, stop me self-destructing on you. Reindeer, yes. All right, so that mortar's in range of anything on this side of the river. I don't think he's really in range of anything on the other side of the river. So he's still got to advance, but I'm not confident that our side of the river is a secure place, and particularly near the banks. I just think it's in range of enemy weapon systems. Now that's an unmanned tank. I'm going to build a tank crew, obviously, and try and capture that in a minute. If I haven't built them already, they'll soon be on the way up there, and that will replace the one that we got blown up. Oh, sorry, that I got blown up. I was going to blame you, but you weren't there. It was me. My bad leadership cost the brave, well, cost two of the crew their lives. Oh, there they are. So here's my tank crew. Going to chuck them up to there. Hopefully that's a safe enough place for them to sit there and heal the tank, and then man it. Now, what I wanted to do more, I always want to do more cinematic scenes, more really close-ups of these guys going into combat and blowing each other up. But the problem with that is to do that in the middle of the fight means taking your eye off the ball, means, you know, not controlling it properly, not micromanaging, and it's risky. You know, if I sit there and make cinematic shots, I probably want to do that in the editor, you know, where you can just set the scene. Maybe I'll try that sometime. The cinematics, I quite like the cinematic videos. You see some sort of shorts, 5-10 minute long, 15 minute long cinematics where people have just gone into, presumably into the game editor, set up a load of units and have them fight each other, and then run around with a camera trying to do nifty shots, you know, following the tank as it goes through the town, killing everything, or watching the artillery fire, and then another of all the spam, you know, where it lands. And I think they're really pretty good animations. I don't watch a lot of them, but I like them, and what I also like is how well they do. There's a lot of other people like them too. Tempted to make one of those. I don't know how easy it is to do on the editing. My editing needs a lot of work. There's a lot of new tricks I got to learn, probably before. Every time I mention the mini-map, for example, I'd love to stretch it out and take it over the whole screen so I can get your attention to it. Talking of which, this mini-map is nothing's happening. So what I'm going to do is what's this? So I'm going to build like a big mortar team. You see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do the maximum one. What I'm also doing is this in this tech tree. There's two types of mortar. There's the 150 point mortar, and then there's the 200 point mortar. I think the 150 point mortar does less damage and is more accurate, and the 200 point mortar does more damage and is less accurate, and they both have the same range. Anyway, I've gone with the 200s. I've gone with the big boy mortars, and that's some ammo to keep them serviced. And then I'll probably push some of this, some of my sexy infantry across the river at some point to make a bridgehead under the cover of these mortars. Yeah. So that means I want to advance my mortars right up to the trench line just to get the extra range. Probably even that tank. At some point, whatever that weapon system is inside the captured trench line, and notice it's not completely captured yet, there's something in there, it's still red. I don't know what that is. I'd love to man it. I bet you it's some kind of light cannon that I could steal and convert to my use. Alright, so let's advance to contact anyway. I'm going to fast forward for a bit. Hang on, folks. This will be the snipers and stuff coming up. Open it up for me, open up line of sight. So I think we found the final guy holding us up on this new spawn. As you see, my guys are repairing the tank. Look at the mini-map. We found a guy right on the river. The mortars have taken him out. It's turned green. We've captured the tank spawn. Saving in progress, and the game loves us for it. So with that in mind, now that that's secure and we own it, I don't know if we're going to buy some tanks. I don't know if I like the second tank it gives me. It might just be like a flak tank, you know, like a tank with a 20mm flak gun or something, which is useful against infantry, but you know, I've already got a tank that does the job against infantry. I'll move him, this guy, he can probably go to reload at that truck, at the ammo truck. And the rest of these guys, I think we can get them, they've done their flanking. I think we can get them closer to the front. See if they can kind of protect the line, stop things, give me some line of sight and stop things from breaking through. So I'll do that, and again I'll fast forward for a second to get us to the next contact. Okay, just a quick heads up, that tank is now fixed and ready to rock. Get in, boys, I'll take it for a drive. And I'll skip forward again, see where we're going to take him. I'll just retreat him while I'm having a think. Alright, I've spent a little time building a stronger line. Look, snipers out the front, infantry out the front. A lot of the crew, the tank crew, a lot of my surplus tank crew I've stuck as a front row. They've got a pistol or something, they're going to be absolutely useless in a fight, except for opening up line of sight. So now that guy hiding behind a bush on the other side of the river there, you know, the tank crew with his pistol is probably out of ammo. There's not much he can do about it, but these tanks that I've put in to thrust on either side, they should be able to get him. I think there's 2 or 3 over there. So this is my plan. This is what I'd like. This is how I'd like this mission to go. I'd like those 2 tanks on the left, these 2, to go all the way up the left-hand side, to pretty much bypass the entire town, not engage with all the tanks, cannons and infantry inside, to drive right past it to the far end of the map and blow up the Stalin's hammer, the massive Russian artillery piece that's right at the back of the map. Pretty much in every one of these skirmish maps, the enemy has at least one artillery piece to his name hidden at the back of the map. Now, because this is the 4th time I've played this, I know where he is, and he is right on the back left and very edge of the top left of the map in a kind of dugout tank trench. So my ambition is to drive one of these tanks all the way over there and either blow it up, crush it, man it, basically to drive over it and squash it, just to take it out of the picture. That'd be a very serious piece of kit to take out of the game. You know, that'd be good, generally good, isn't it? Enemy artillery gone, like it. Preferably before it gets a shot off. So that's the plan. Yeah. Spoiler. I'm tempted to spoiler, but no. All right, that's the plan. Up here as well on the left, there's a a really nice, there's kind of a road that goes through, over some high ground with a kink in it. Just this road we're looking at now, just off the map above it. There's kind of a hill it passes over. I'd like to shoot things as they come over that hill with tanks. I'd like, for example, when the enemy armour comes down that road and crests that hill, I'd like about 3 tanks to be shooting it. So there's my advanced sniper. Oh no, there's my, yeah. So as you can see, that's my tank crew guy. He's just a spotter. He's just a low grade spotter, super cheap. But the snipers I'm getting out, I want them to get targets on my mortars and my cannons. There you go, he's found one. Will the mortars engage it? And anti-aircraft guns having a go, so the tanks. He should be in a lot of trouble. Look at the mortars. All my mortar shots are landing in the water. That's how inaccurate these 200-point mortars are. I mean, they might be a mistake to buy them. If I'm quite honest with you, I think it's a mistake to buy them. I think the other mortars get you kills quicker. I think the other mortars, the cheaper ones, are more effective and they're just more accurate. I mean, okay, they don't necessarily, they're just more accurate. That's all I can say. Yes, I'm not convinced that the 200-point mortars are even worth buying. They might be, not only to add insult to injury, not only more expensive, but less effective. I sort of think by the time I get 4 mortars, if an infantry pops onto the screen and it's the only target on the screen and it's in mortar range, I pretty much expect it to die instantly. I think 4 is about the critical mass for me. You know, where my mortars start being killing things fast. You know, a mortar, if you leave it there for long enough, is going to get the enemy. But if you got like 4, it's going to take it. That first spam is likely to get them. And that's what we all like. We don't like the enemy to get a chance to shoot back. Anyway, so they're advancing to give me just a tad of extra range. There's a hill on the other side of this, at the top of the hill on the other side of this water line, right at the top of the screen right now. There's a cannon line. And they'll have, I don't know, it could be a light howitzer, it could be an anti-tank, it could be, what's the ones they use? These recoilless rifle, you know, the rocket anti-tank cannon. They're actually pretty powerful. They don't look much, but they're firing a great big shaped warhead, you know, they're firing a cone. This is the bridge, this is the ridge line I was talking about. So the road comes over this pass, and it just, whatever comes over that pass comes into range of like 2 of my tanks simultaneously, and that's enough to hold them up. What I have now, I'd love to take that pass to get up on that hill and have fire control over over a good chunk of town. You know, being able to shoot over buildings, have a lot of line of sight up that high. Over hedges, over walls, maybe over low buildings. See my snipers mining them up as they get near that bridge. Ooh, 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 ooh. Shot my ammo truck. So I think behind these sandbags, just left of that burnt out tank on the road, is a recoilless rifle. Just blasted my ammo truck, and it doesn't seem to be in range of the mortars, even though they're the big ones. The left and right seem pretty pinned down. The little infantry zerg on the right walking into a tank and a squad of men that are in cover. They're probably in trouble. They should just evaporate. This gun line in the centre that I'm worried about most at the moment. I'd like to work towards taking that out. What I might try and do is, I just bought another tank. What I might try and do is do a push around to the right and see if I can, you know, sneak across the river with some heavy troops. Make a bit of a bridgehead. And once that's done, I'd like to move my mortars in across the water. Give me some heavy covering fire. But yeah, so next move here is to essentially, that's the troops. Let's put my super troopers down there, like where these guys are, but in a concentrated, but basically in a where the sniper is, but in a concentrated group. I want them to cross. I want them to make a bridgehead. I want to cross the river in sufficient numbers to hold the ground when they get there. So I thought a squad of sexy troopers and 2 tanks, I'm hoping, is the right number to do that. So edging these mortars forward. So you can see on the mini map, you can see those 2 red arrows in the on either side of the road, on the other side of the river. You know, we've got line of sight of them, but I'm not engaging them, just not in range. From there, this tank could get killed because they're shooting at that truck behind it. So, all right, cool. Yeah, I was a bit worried that the path in there was kind of suicidal. That seems okay. And the mortars are firing at something. What are they firing at? Firing at the bridge on the right? Yeah, they're firing at the bridge on the right. Damn it, I want them to fire at the cannons. No, they're firing at cannons. Look at the bridge. So, yeah. So, on the other side of the bank, where would I like to take them? Cover behind that building, perhaps? If I run them, yeah, if I run them in here. Because I reckon there's going to be a big concentration of enemies, entrenched enemies and tanks and guns and all the rest of it, just on the other side of that hill. So I don't want to put them out straight into the firefight yet. I want them to hide. Maybe open up line of sight for the mortars to do something, or the tanks behind them to do something. Just maybe. There you go, look at the mini-map, there's loads out there. There's a tank, there's a cannon, there's a trench line or 2 cannons. At least 2 cannons, maybe 2 cannons and a machine gun. The mortars do seem to at least be trying to... Oh, okay, this isn't a good place to stop at all. Like, my cover has just been removed. Come on, boys. That's the first of the 2 tanks. I want to back them up. Pretty much charging it. Let's get those tanks into range, even if they get shot at. The tanks and the infantry troop they're saving cost the same. So it's not actually, if I lost that tank to save those troops, that would be a straight fair deal. Oh dear. Not that I want to. Well, it looks like I'm going to, doesn't it? But at least while everyone's shooting that tank, I can manoeuvre across. Tank on tank. It's a duel. Same tank versus same tank. What is this? A T20, T25, T? I can't read, too small. I think we're going to win this one, but who knows? I've lost 1 tank, look. But I have just bought a load more, so it's going to be a short-lived loss. That tank crew to go hide. Don't think. Over on the left, another guy's cresting that hill, hopefully soon to explode, just watching him on the mini-map. It's like an armoured car, something like that. Should be outgunned massively. Ooh, look at that. BT, whatever it is, BT5, BT7. Might try and capture him later. I'm still having trouble with these. Like that. That's a recordless rifle, so it's firing some kind of rocket. Some kind of giant bazooka. And they're dangerous. That's definitely what. Well, I think that's what just killed my tank in the river crossing. If it hasn't, the chances that it will. Now, so I did just buy one of those. Remember I said I hadn't bought the 300 point guns, of which I can have 3. I just bought one. This is the first. I think that would be a really effective weapon to take out the gun emplacements. I think it's going to have the same range as them and a much bigger splash damage. So I put him here. And hopefully he'll do the thing. Is he going to fire? He doesn't seem to be moving or firing or in any way persuaded to attack what's clearly visible on the minimap. So I'm suggesting he's out of range and I'm going to try and reverse him in. I like reversing them in. That means the minute you drop them, the gun's facing in the right direction and you can drive the truck out by going forwards. Anything? Is that going to fire? Obviously still hasn't got range. It says it's got range. Yeah, so I mean he's shooting at this is fit for purpose. Do it. Okay, goodbye. So that's why I moved him there. Let's see if he can repeat the process for the other one. If he does, that'll be magic to riff. Okay, decrewed. This is like a machine gun or something? I don't know. Yeah, machine Maxim. So Maxim apparently is an American. You know, there's me thinking Maxim must be a German, but I think he's an American. Obviously the first time I can historically, you know, the first time I'm seeing Maxim guns is World War I in the trenches. And, you know, the Germans. So I was thinking Maxim's not an English name, must be German. No, I don't think he was. I think he was American. Right, now, so the mortars. Let's get them across the river. I like to place mortars just on the edge of the bank on the other side, preferably, you know, low ground or behind the building, although the buildings don't last very long. And then they can neutralise the control point, you know, on the right there, that red capture point. Essentially, they can provide some serious cover. These guns, however, can pretty much stay with the guns that are fighting on covering the bridge. Nah. Just lob that big shell over there. Oh, he's remanned the. Remanned and been unmanned. Yeah, about here, say behind that behind that log at the very bottom of the screen in the centre. About there is where I'm going to want to turn into my next mortar position. And this will be upgraded to, and eventually, can you see halfway across along the top of the map, that kind of road is raised. It's got another ridge line behind it. At some point I want to turn that into a mortar spot too. I mean, they really are working. So yeah, that's them in range. And I'll move the I would move the ammo truck up, but it's a bit shot up and needs repair first. Alright, let's advance to contact. Advance the video to contact at least. And here is that contact. On the right hand side of the screen, the enemy consistently sends Zergs. So they're sending an assault squad. Probably might have come in a truck. It's under heavy mortar fire. There's some tanks there. It's just infantry. They should get really smashed. It won't be the last time we see this. This is going to be an ongoing thing for the whole game. So it won't hurt me to get some kind of decent firepower just sitting up there waiting to crush that infantry each time it comes. Your trench line could be a tank or two, and then the infantry tank. Mortars. They're probably all in range of the mortars. So I've got my ninja squad here, my sexy troop, and I'm trying to clean out the capture point, get whatever tank that earns me. I haven't set them in with tank support, so I don't really know what's on the other side, and I don't know when the artillery kicks in, whether that's going to... Right. I say these boys are expendable, they're really not. They cost the same as a tank, quite expensive. But they're pretty effective, and they should be enough to, I hope. As long as I play them sensibly, should be enough to clear this capture point. And yes, it's not just infantry that can come down that right hand track, it's also tanks and whatever else. That's a mortar. Look, I've been hunting this mortar that's been firing at me. So there they are, right in front of the pit. I think they've decrewed it. I love to take out the artillery as soon as I can, instead of just having it just pounding my stuff all the time. Particularly as I play these long games, so I like to build a formation. I don't want artillery hitting my formations. I like to, you see most of my troops I'm not managing right now. It's not like I'm just playing one unit and running it all the way through. It's probably how I won the thing fast the last two times. Like just playing one unit and running it all the way through. A unit like a tank that can do it. But yeah, consequently, with my sitting around take all day long tactics, artillery are a real nightmare. Shoot him. So he's taking that beating. I think he's in trouble. Cool, there's two tanks up there I can capture. Might be time to get some more crewmen. Another tank I can bring forward. I think all the heavy weapons covering this bridge are done. Maybe there's some on the left hand flank, certainly on the right. I don't think there's anything covering that bridge in terms of heavy weapons. Although there's a lot of traffic flow that way, there's a lot of armoured cars and tanks that'll come that way. Mortar crews, some of them, at least two men there are dead, I think. They've taken some knocks, but they're still in action. Two dead there now. Ooh, didn't spot that. Set this tank to go side by side with the other tank. Double its firepower. So I'm thinking that the enemies that I can't find in this capture zone is probably in that shack to the top right, just next to the mini-map. I thought what I'd do is drive a tank into it and crush it. I'll order some more tank crew, look, because there's loads of tank crew up here. There's a couple of, wow, there's quite a few. There's about 3 tanks up there I could capture. Two. And the third one's at the top of the bridge, across the centre, across the central river. I love tank crew. They're just so cheap. It's just the cheapest unit in the game. Doesn't hurt if they've got a tank to as well. Oh, there's a tank. Is that? I noticed that my plan to go take this map from the left-hand side has been completely forgotten. I've given up on it already. Got distracted from that one. Yeah, why don't you fix that tank? Oh, wait, lazy. Yeah, you. So here we go. So what I'll try and do is I'll just crush this building, and if there's anything inside, the other tank will mow it. Oh, it doesn't crush. Yeah, I just rammed it in the big 20, 30 ton tank, and no, didn't happen. However, since we're here, let's pop out the side and deal with whatever that is on the road. I might bring the other tank to do the same. Okay, given that that building is pretty indestructible, I'm going to use it as hard cover. So when the vehicle surge, when vehicle reinforcements from the other side come down to the centre and would ordinarily instantly engage by tanks and blow them up, trit them, they'll have a trapdoor spider hole to hide behind. It should shield them, I hope. Man that mortar that I captured. It's doing its dastardly thing. Oh, look on the mini-map, just shown up a big tank. Big boy tank. Did you see what it was? It's disappeared now, but it was in that hole. There. It's KV. KV-1. I don't really want to get into a slugfest tank versus tank with a KV. These guys, they just won't really penetrate it. They just go ping, 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 until eventually it kills them. Until it shoots back and, you know, 1 or 2 shots them. So what's he seen? What's the KV keeps popping up because it's firing? What's he firing at? Oh, is he firing at the mortar pit? I think he is. Okay, so that's a capturable tank. We want it. At some point I want to start putting troops into these buildings. They're slow to, they don't die very quickly, and they give a lot of line of sight. So this is another one of my hero squads. Sexy troopers. So we can probably have to retreat them back. But, those are my mortars. I'm pretty sure that's my mortars almost killing me. Getting some friendly fire action. I'm pretty sure that they're also aiming at the road. Can you see they're like 300 yards, 300 feet from the road, but I think they're aiming at the road. They're miles off. These things just miss by, when they miss by a country mile, don't they? I think we've captured the next line of defence. Yay! So there's new tanks. I might even buy some. The next tanks, I think it's the French Hotchkiss tank. Not very inspiring kind of a tank. But you know, good, does the job, but not very inspiring anyway. You'll see. You know, looks like it's just escaped from World War One. It looks like Barney Rubble's car. You know, yabba dabba doo. He's got a feet sticking out the bottom and rolling it along the ground. It looks rubbish. I'll show you one. I will buy one just to show you what a Flintstone tank looks like. Oh, finally, okay, my big left-hand push. This is really how I want to defeat this game, from the left. There's two capture points up here on the left. One's artillery, could be useful, and the other is airstrikes, always useful. That big, you know, that big KV, for example, in its pit, I'd love. An airstrike is the way to kill it. Either a bunch of guys with hand grenades, I mean a bunch of them, because it's going to take more than one, or something bigger than an 88 gun or bigger, don't have it, or an airstrike. Airstrike's the, you know, easy kill for an airstrike. So I expect I'll be taking him down with an airstrike. What I don't want to do is to get into a tank on tank battle with him. That would be a big mistake. There's some interesting stories from World War II when the Germans are invading Russia, wherever that is, Barbarossa or whatever it's called. And the very first, you know, right at the beginning, when Russia's essentially getting surprise attacked and wiped out, where these KV-1 tanks just do phenomenal defences, where just one of them, there'll be a lone KV tank, you know, out by a crossroads in the middle of nowhere, and it will just massacre. Like it'll be having a fight like they have in Fury, you know, where the one tank is holding down an entire company, killing loads of tanks, killing loads of troops. Really big hero moments in these KV tanks. And they didn't have them, you know, they didn't have the massed ranks of them, so they couldn't send going into battle, nothing like that, not a big curse. And they didn't have, you know, tanks supported by infantry, supported by howitzers, none of that. They just have one of those tanks, you know, hidden in a bush somewhere by the side of the road, not really know, you know, with no radio, having no idea what's going on, suddenly encountering an enormous amount of highly organised Germans and smashing them all and ripping them to pieces. You know, in a kind of, just in a Viking way. It's just, I'm so hard, I'll just stand here and take you all on, and doing it, and winning. So yeah, these KVs have got just Have a phenomenal combat record. Just insane combat record. They'll be taking out, taking out the battalion all on their own. And it didn't just happen once. There's if you check the internet or for a bit of history, you'll find there are multiple stories. What's the there's a Soviet TV show, history series, Soviet Storm, is that it? It's essentially it's World War II from Russia's perspective, from the Soviet perspective. Really good, and I think the first 12 out of 20, the last 4 out of 20 don't have subtitles or something, which is a pain. And it's a great story. It's good. You won't get that story anywhere else. You won't get it told in that much detail anywhere else. It's on YouTube. I think it's called Soviet Storm. Well worth a watch. The kind of Soviet Storms, the animations, low production values compared to what you're used to from a Western production, but effective storytelling, effective history, and teaching you the stuff that if you're like me and from the West, you just don't know. We don't cover it in that much detail in history classes at school. We do it, but we might spend a week on the whole Eastern Front, while these guys, a week on the Eastern Front and 5 years on the Western Front, because hey, that's where we're from. But obviously the Soviets have done the same, and there is a lot of history there to check out, and I'm going to recommend Soviet Storm. Really good documentary series. Oh, I'll tell you what else I'm going to recommend. Documentary series. It's a Jelly Beans, just done 2. I haven't watched them yet, I'm going to. The history of the Panzer I. I wonder if he's going to keep going with it. It's really, for a game that I'm making these kind of YouTubes of gameplay, and it's pretty, it's not difficult, is it? I'm not doing a lot of homework here, I'm just playing my game. But yes, he's put some kind of presentation together on it. Each one's like about a half an hour show or something. So I'm going to watch them. Something like, how does the Panzer I, how did it do in combat? Because it's not, it wasn't what they wanted. It was all that sanctions would allow them to have. It was the cheapest, rubbishest, undergunned tank, not the Panzer IV was what they wanted. And again, if you play them in War Thunder, like tank sims, it's only got a 20-minute calendar, but you can get some work out of it. And certainly against the infantry, I imagine it could be quite effective. But I will find out more. I'll watch that video. Look at all my tanks crawling up, my second wave of tanks. I think this will be the new tanks, the Hotchkiss. That's a Hotchkiss. Look on the left there, look, just going down the bank, charging him in. It's not quite as bad. It's not quite as Flintstone, and perhaps I was selling it, but it looks pretty Flintstone to me. These Russians and German tanks are a bit more exciting. There he is. Actually, and when I've used him in this game, I found this to actually be quite an effective tank. Doesn't look like much, but it is a Fred Flintstone mobile, but it's pretty effective. Look, it's going to kill all those guns, I think, pretty easily. That was an anti-tank gun. It's blown it up. So I think it was. It might have been a machine gun. There's an anti-tank gun up there. It's dueling with him. I think he's going to beat it. That anti-tank gun up there on the left flank, that's stalling my mega advance on the left. I wanted to take tanks up on the left, go all the way around and blow up the artillery. The anti-tank gun is definitely, that's firing into the drink there, that is definitely stalling that advance. Also a tank up there right next to it that I could capture with a tank crew. Hopefully I've already dispatched for exactly that purpose. Now I'm going to try and apply some distraction with these guys. I want the anti-tank gun to stop firing at my tanks, and either it's going to get distracted and go for my troops when they start shooting it, or perhaps they'll just shoot the crew off it. Yeah, they're going to do it. All right, let's silence that gun, and it won't get remanned as long as they're there either. So that means these tanks are unlocked. They can move forward. And again, I'm not necessarily going for this point. I mean, I'll take it if it's free, but what I'm really going for is the artillery piece behind town. That's where I want to be. These guys are doing all right, but they're not safe. You know, they're never safe. There's just a constant, all the reinforcements come that way, or a significant amount of reinforcements come that way. And a significant amount of the reinforcements that come that way have anti-tank weapons, or an armoured car with an anti-tank gun, a tank with an anti-tank gun, or a big tank, you know, a KV or a T-34. So they're not safe there. They're doing a great job. They're winning most of their they're winning all their fights, but the day will come if I don't pay attention. They will get attrited. So I sort of thought we'd bring the tanks up to there, but I'm a bit worried that there's like, do you remember I saw that KV? I'm a bit worried that there's a KV up there that's going to engage them. And I don't want that. I want them to be, obviously, attacking unarmed men. In fact, unarmed women, children and pensioners with no guns, maybe, you know, armed with a spear. That's the kind of enemy I want to fight. Old ladies with a spear. My mum, I think she was 80 something. I bought her a chainsaw for Christmas. Bless her. My friends have got one. I must have one. She said, it used to be really heavy, but I've bulked up. You know, they're old ladies. Bless them. Get quite macho when they get old. This little thing that I've just captured, done up, fixed up, appears to just be a machine gun tank, so I'm just going to pull it back. If it had something that can penetrate an armoured car, I'll stick him out there. I think it's just going to be basically cannon fodder. I expect this one to die very soon. See, these other two tanks I've got, they are taking hits. You know, they're not dying because they've got reasonable armour, but they are taking hits. This little thing hasn't got reasonable armour. It will be taking hits and it will die. So with that said, what I'm going to do is drive them over to the right and use them just to, remember I said there's always a bunch of infantry coming down the right hand road. Let's go reinforcement. I'll stick him up there to shoot up some of them. These are, I've amassed 3 sets of these sexy troops to attack down this left hand bank side. Fill these trenches up there. I think I've got 3, maybe 4 units of them. Because while I've been gassing so much, I haven't really been spending my resources. I just essentially, you know, we're doing a good job with what we've got, and I haven't been losing them fast enough. Or so I got resource capped. I got up to 5,000 resource points, and it wouldn't give me any. So I thought, oh, I better have a spend up. Why not get a load of sexy troops? It's now about my most expensive unit. So I have, and there they are. Oh look, so they've taken out 1 tank there. Maybe both of them. They're taking up the armoured car that I thought would go, and a tank that I'd hope would last longer. But they're all repairable. I've got 3 crewmen, so we'll repair that tank, put the 3 crewmen in it as soon as you can. Get that back, get that line up and running again. I could pretty much do a general advance, I think. I think I could pretty much move everything up at this point. The mortars could go inland up to the next road line, hide behind that bank there. The left-hand side could do its artillery hunt. Oh, nice bang. I like the way that blows up. The guns on the central bridge, cross that bridge, take position on the other side. Yeah, there's definitely time for a general advance. Snipers could get up on that ridge, up there on top, you know, on the pass, above that pass, and look down into the road. That might be a bit insane because there's an armoured car waiting for them on the other side. It's not an armoured car, it's a truck with some anti-aircraft guns on the back. Quite technical. So I'm really apprehensive. There's usually a KV-1 over there. With the benefit of hindsight, I think it's actually on the other map, you know, that one I saw earlier. KV hiding in the tank. Hiding in the tank ditch. Excuse me. I think it might have spawned on the other side, but I'm not sure. There might be two, there might be, I don't know. But certainly, I'm scared of it. That's worth capturing, I'll take that. As long as nobody shoots me while I'm fixing it. These guys are ready to go. There you go, back online. A few repair kits down, good as gold. What's he shooting at? Vehicle. Alright, so that's the tank crew for the one on the left that I want to capture. Some ammo. Yeah, I think these guys could just cross over, don't you? It's all about putting him on the centre of the bridge and just get him over there. Just do it. I think mortars behind that road line there. Yeah, all these guys. I think they could, you know, there's no line of sight to them, so tanks could be right on top of them before they get a shot. It's a really nice, my kind of cover, that. Some of these mortars, however, have only got one men on, which means they won't be walking until I sort them out properly. Looks to me like that ammo truck's pretty empty as well, so I might get another. Now, if I then, as I capture the next thing on the left, it'll be an artillery spawn. Then I'll make this spot here. I'll get some more ammunition trucks in, fresh ones. That one is really empty, which is why the reloading signal keeps turning off. I think I'll turn this position here with this mortar. I think this will be my final artillery base, and I'll put bigger artillery in there as I get it, and it'll be pretty controlling. So if I fix this guy up, we'll try and charge him. We'll risk him for a biscuit, a chocolate biscuit, chocolate hobnob biscuit. Yeah, caramel hobnob. Ooh. Jammy Dodgers. Anyway, enough about biscuits. I'm not hungry. No, not starving. Please don't like and subscribe to my videos so I can afford food. I'm too fat, you know. Starve me. Starve me some more. Oh, I did go to Tesco's. It was expensive. I bought a lot of chocolate. Right, T-34. Here it comes. I'm going to struggle with this, aren't I? Look at that. What have I got that can take out T-34? Actually, not much. I thought if my tanks hit it in the side enough, they'll get it. So come on, hit it in the side, boys. But that's all I've got in terms of anti-tank is some plasma grenades and these kind of pretty low-tech tanks. I mean, all of these tanks are at least one generation lower than the T-34. He's got massive armour compared to them and a gun that will punch right through them. So he's scary. So what I might try and do is get one of my sexy squads to go up there and throw hand grenades at it. Let's see if that works. I'll get these boys to repair my best tank, which is the BT-5. Or 7, I don't know which it is. Look the same to me. See, they're just shooting that T-34 and it's just bouncing off. It's not, doesn't care. Let's get a sniper here to go somewhere aggressive. Those guys are right there waiting to repair that tank. That's the third one I was interested in capturing. Don't mess around, boys. Don't point your pistol at nonsense. Get your toolkit out. Some line of sight with the sniper. Because I'm defending that and there are guns there, things get really close there. Right, will he instantly explode or will he escape? Let's find out. He's got a track missing, so I'll get it repaired while they're in there so they can at least use the gun. Ah, no, look at that, look at that, look at that. Get out, boys, get out. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll fix it completely next time and then we'll try and drive it behind the house or something the instant we get it going. I don't know what shot that, but I was maybe it was the KV that I was scared of. I'm definitely scared of what's in that town on the left. Right, T-34's on the move. So he's been taking hits this whole time. It just hasn't really phased him. I don't know why he's not shooting back, but maybe he's drunk. Maybe he's vodka Ivan. Maybe they're all drunk. We give you this best tank because you are the best drinker. So I'm definitely trying to capture this zone. This would give me artillery. I've got loads of units here. Why not? Got like 30 plus infantry, heavy infantry in here. Got the tanks, maybe more than 2. Whatever that gun was that was shooting at me. Mind seeing, oh, there it is. Look. See on the mini map? It's definitely a cannon up there. Bet that's it. So that's dangerous. Some sort of anti-aircraft gun. 30. I'm not going to move if you don't move, boys. Oh, it's not. Yeah, so that's what it was. So there's a cannon behind that fence, and then a fence behind that. There's a anti-aircraft truck, a technical. So the cannon's what's been shooting this, I think, and the technical is what shoots the infantry, I think. So, Thunder Run. He's going for the artillery. All he's got to do is sneak past that cannon and find the artillery and squash it, drive on top of it. You can shoot it up if he likes, but driving a tank over it tends to, it's not going to get remanned after it's been crushed. It cost me, sending a tank right to the back, it's not going to last long because all the reinforcements will eventually kill it or quickly kill it, even if nothing else does. But it takes out the artillery fair swap. Stalin's hammer for some cheap El Cheapo Stalin's cheap tank. I'll take it. So that's the anti-aircraft truck. Not scared of that. I like to pop him. Get out of the way since he's been blocking my infantry advance. Alive, it is still alive. Oh no, that's good. Alright, so that's done. And the cannon got us. What completely got us too. So yeah, it's just there, look, just behind that, next to that water tank, behind the fence. And these infantry should be able to just go up there and throw a grenade at it, I think. We've got it. If I'm not mistaken, this place would just turn green, didn't it? Did it just turn green? Oh, well, shoot them. Just being a bit cheap and not wanting to waste grenades. So we captured that gun. I might actually pick it up and move it. We'll have that. I don't know what we're going to do with it. Maybe I should stick it up on that hill. That would have been a good spot for it. These guys will put in the house, and their job is to essentially give line of sight. Is to stay alive, annoy the enemy, give me lots of line of sight. Where's the weapon systems? Where's the tanks? Watch it, there could be mortar in the mortar pit, but I haven't been getting any mortar shells. Now, will these 4 men be enough to take out the artillery? Let's see. I must be shooting at them. So we've gained artillery. We can now buy some of our own. Let's advance all these troops. I couldn't find, I'm looking for, there's a cannon somewhere in there. Some kind of, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a machine gun, maybe it's a cannon. But I can't find it. I'm running the mouse over it, trying to highlight the, crew this gun. Oh, I can't see it. I can't find it. Pretty soon I'm going to give up. Can you see it? Just the flipping thing. Map says it's right there. Oh, there it is. It's a Maxim. Yeah, I've seen it. Don't want it. I was hoping it'd be like a light cannon or something. Howitzer. Big, not light cannon. Heavy cannon. That's what I'm after. So that's a 155 gun. The Ukraine Classic. Still being used today. Probably the very same one. I think it didn't let it go rusty. Can I take it? I think I'm under his elevation. I think they're in. I think he's going to at least capture it. If he can hold it. I wonder if I should just blow it up or if I should try and use it. I can't resist it, can I? Give it a go, boys. Have some fun with that fella. Now, already reinforcements from off the screen are shooting at me. So this isn't going to last long. That's why I'm kind of, should I blow it up? Should I destroy it? Somehow, should I fight it until it gets destroyed, hoping that, A, it kills loads, and B, if it does die, it dies catastrophically. A tank shoots it and it explodes. I don't know. It's a quandary. Oh, something big's firing at it now. I haven't managed to get a shot off. I asked it to shoot where I thought that KV would be. Didn't bother. Now it's turning out. So I'll move these through. I'll retreat the 3 that aren't manning it. And the lone guy can spin it round and try and get a shot off and whatever. And it's loaded, dude. Do you want to shoot it? No? Alright. Well, I'll think about it in a bit. Meantime, look what spawned right in front of him. A tank. Shoot it. Shoot it. Your gun is big. The tank is weak. You can tell. Oh, God. Alright, yeah, I don't think we're going to get a lot of action out of that artillery piece, but what the hell? It's not firing at us. It may never fire at us. Who knows? I bought 2 artillery pieces. We've captured the artillery spawn. I bought the artillery pieces. I'm going to buy a supply truck as well, hopefully, too. There's a load of tanks. So I bought a load of tanks, a couple of artillery pieces. I probably want a supply truck to drive my artillery piece. What's going on? Why can't I find this? Hang on, mouse wheel up. Hiding. Yes, I bought some artillery and a truck to tow them over to my artillery base where the mortars are. I think one of these artillery pieces is basically a giant mortar. So that was a truck full of infantry. Could be the kiss of death for my 4 men over there. This is the Hotchkiss tank. Barney Rubble, Fred Flintstone at the helm. Might be fixed now. It strikes me that the T-34 that's given me such a hard time has now been decrewed. I'd like to capture that, because I sort of think a T-34 at least has some kind of chance against a KV, surely. I mean, money's on the KV, but it's got more chance than anything else I could get here. Right, I'll take that up to the artillery base, which is there. It's my little tank squad. That German tank, look, on the left of those 2 is the top tank unit in the game, or at least in this game, in this level. And that'll be marked on the mini-map as heavy, you know, equally as bad as the KV. It's not, by the way. Spoiler alert, the KV will just mutilate that thing. It'll rip it apart, but shells will bounce off the KV and the KV's shells won't bounce off it. I presume that's like a Panzer III, perhaps, something? I don't know. I think it is. Or it might be the first Panzer IV. Who knows? Somebody knows. I mean, I could look it up and find out. But I think Panzer III. That's my best guess. I met some good old boys at the weekend who had been to Muckleton Tank Museum, World War II and stuff. They had a good time. They'd driven the APC. It wasn't a tank they got to drive, but they got to drive, you know, a tracked vehicle around, armoured vehicle. Yeah, had some drinks with them. We discussed war porn. Exchanged all our armchair generals' war stories. Yes. Never been anywhere near a war. But, you know, I've got war stories because I play a lot of video games. Back in '98, well, during the Gulf War, when I was flying the stealth bomber on my Mac. Oh yeah, it was hairy. Tell you, some of those missions that I flew. Only kidding. Yeah. Yes, I met some lads, and we did that. But if you're listening, Trinidad, they'd gone to Muckleton. There we went. And loved it. Right, so my troops that captured that artillery piece are all dead, but it doesn't appear to be remanned, though I haven't got line of sight over there. And they're not all dead. I mean, I've got some kind of line of sight over there. I think one of them must be alive. The guy in the cannon, maybe. I don't know. That can advance. And we've got 2 points to capture. Should be. Next one is aeroplanes, bombers. That'll be useful. Might get some decent artillery support in soon as well. Got to be careful. Some of these come as by default as not set to fire at will. Now I love fire at will. I know people want to save it, but I just have more guns. If you if you don't have an artillery piece firing every time something comes on the map, you haven't got enough artillery pieces. You don't need just one. You need loads. It just flattens everything. As soon as they pop up, they explode. That's what I want. Look at that. See, those 2 infantry done. I didn't have to do it. Didn't have to drive it. Didn't have to go first person or winkle them out with a grenade over the head. No. None of that. Just into a wall of death. Probably why I suck at conquest. Is to play the units well, not just rely on being a huge zerg. That another artillery piece. Look at that, beautiful. So this new one, see that, is that not a mortar? That new artillery piece, that is a mortar, isn't it? I mean, pretty sure. And then yeah, then I'll start manning those buildings. I'll start crewing them. I'll start putting blokes in there to even if it's just these little these little tank crews, they'd be really useful inside one of those buildings. Just give me some decent line of sight and hopefully never die, and if they do die, it won't be a sad loss, will it? Tank crew. The T-34 I'd like to capture. Is it safe to do so? Is that an 85? It looks like it's got a long barrel. Yeah, that's what I want, that base. As far as I can tell, there's no... Weirdly, there's no heavy equipment in there. Don't know why not. There ought to be. I haven't seen it yet. So I thought that's a nice spot. Look, sit up here in a trench, in a big hole, just the top of the turret sticking out. Got depression. I've got depression because no one likes me. And I don't have many subscribers. Tank depression. It's terrible. Right, so those boys are the sex infantry, they're the heavy dudes. They should be able to at least get in there and hold some ground. It's not a very big area, they've got to be able to find whatever humans in. Presumably something's in the building, I would have thought. Oh, we've got the sandbags. Right in the building. Captured, okay, now we've got an airstrike. So know what we're going to do with that. It's not him. It's here. That's where I think the KV is, in that pit. And that will also open the map up for us. We'll get a load of... So here comes the Hotchkiss. Barney Rubble to the rescue. Comes. What else can we see while we're out here? Anti-aircraft done. There's the KV, some kind of RT piece over there. So that one needs an airstrike too. Look, that other tank pit. And here it is. There's nothing in it. No, I completely wasted it. There was nothing there. That's where I thought the KV was, but he wasn't. He was just over the road. Right. Still, if he doesn't move, we'll get him next time. I mean, I've killed 3 humans or something down there, maybe 4. Seems to clear the trenches anyway. So, final push. Oh, look at that big explosion. Look at that. Who dropped that? Them or me? Thinking them. So yeah, just capturing these buildings. I mean, just turning them into fortresses. I don't really expect them to do a lot of killing, but giving me line of sight is a big tactical advantage. Oops, the microphone. It's comfortable there. Now that cannon is facing the wrong direction. Look at it. The arrow is facing the wrong way. It's facing back to the artillery point. Awesome sniper. Get in there. You can make it. You can make it. If you keep behaving like an idiot, there's not much chance. That's a lot of line of sight. I don't see that our artillery's really going nuts and killing everything, do you? Maybe it's out of range. So there's the airstrike. We'll take that. Save their artillery for next. Right. And after this, I would suggest that we roll the tanks in. And just go for them. Here comes. Got him. Good. So that's, yeah, I think that's pretty conquerable now. There's still two heavy weapons up there and an armoured car and presumably whatever reinforcements come. Well, I think we got enough tanks just to steamroll it right now. Boom, see ya. So what? Reached out and touched that fella, but it was pleasing me the way it did it. Hopefully it'll do it again to whatever it sees next. So this is some kind of cannon. I don't know what that is. I suspect it's some kind of artillery piece, and it is aimed this way. Another gun up here. Where is it? What is it? So I see one guy in the trench. This cannon here. Let's crush the cannon. Nice. Run away from the troops that are in the trenches, they don't grenade me. We're really close to winning now. If you come this far with me, thanks very much. Much appreciated. It's lovely to have viewers. Awesome to have people who want to watch. Makes it all worthwhile. And yeah, please, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Because I will be making more. I don't know what I'll be making next. As pretty soon it's time for a new game. I'm hoping that Men of War 2 or whatever it was will eventually come out. But you know, those the Men of War developers genuinely are at war. Ukrainian, so it may not happen soon, but I hope it does. I'll certainly play the hell out of that one. This one, I'm going to try and do some challenges. I think I'm trying to work out some challenges. I want to do a bit more multiplayer with Jelly Bean and anyone else who's mad enough to join me. But I also want to do some challenge missions. I want to do, say, a skirmish played this way. I want to do Finland campaign episode 4. I want to do it without sucking so badly. I want to do you know, a different way, approach from a different direction, using only infantry. Using only artillery, you know, I want to do some challenges. I don't know if they'll make interesting videos, but I'll do a few challenges and let's see if I can get something fun out of it. And I also want to practice when I get some time, which will be at the end of summer. probably want to remake a lot of these because I want to practice video editing skills. I want to do, I want the screen, every time I talk about how to look at the mini-map, I want to actually grow the mini-map out so you can have a look at it. Because it's dominating the screen, I don't have to say have a look at the mini-map. I want to make fun transitions. Ooh, that's it, we've won! Victory! Let's have a look, see who's left. Not many, that's a pretty clean wipe. Alright folks, it's been a good one. It's a pleasure to see you all again. And come back and visit me soon. There will be more. Bye.